Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Feast. Good to see all of you. I have a humble request, if that's possible. There's no one really in the middle. If if you'd like to come to the middle, that would be very nice. Only if that's possible. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from 1st Canto, Chapter 1, text number 9. This is questions by the sages. It's the very first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Tatra tatranja sayusman bhavatayat vinishchitam pumsame kantata sheyas tanna samsitamarhasi. Translation. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. And this is the purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of the Acharyas is recommended. The Acharyas and Goswamis are always absorbed in thought of the well-being of the general public, especially their spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being is automatically followed by material well-being. The Acharyas therefore give directions in spiritual well-being for people in general, foreseeing the incompetencies of the people in this age of Kali, or the Aryan age of quarrel. The sages requested that Sūta Gosvāmī give a summary of all revealed scriptures, because the people of this age are condemned in every respect. The sages therefore inquired of the absolute good, which is the ultimate good for the people. The condemned state of affairs of the people of this age is described as follows. This is the end of the purport, and then it will be the description of the people or the state of affairs in this age of Kali Yuga, the Iron Age. And we'll also touch on that a little bit later. Before I continue, I'll just offer some prayers. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shanakaya Chakshurun Militam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakopatrubhescha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So if we look at this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the first canto, and in this text the sages who assembled to perform this great sacrifice of Shravanam and Kirtanam, they are speaking or asking a question about what is the ultimate good for the people in general. It's a very important question, and this part of Srimad Bhagavatam emphasizes one thing, that when we ask a question of this nature, Okay. When we ask a question of this nature, we should find someone who is qualified to give the answer. So it is very important. Before we find out the ultimate good, we should first find the qualified speaker or the qualified person who can really explain it to us. So the purport says that in the Bhagavad Gita, the worship of Acharya is recommended. And we know that one of the qualities of knowledge is to approach a spiritual master. It's essential to know the truth. Krishna says in the 4th chapter, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. We should approach a spiritual master. This Bhagavatam is the great shelter for the Vaishnavas. It's very explicitly explains about what are the means of pure devotional service. And in the first few texts, the first and second texts, Srila Vyasadeva is explaining about the absolute truth. Then he also speaks about that Srimad Bhagavatam propounds that highest truth, and it's not materially motivated. There's no material motivation. This knowledge is completely pure. And if you submissively hear this knowledge, this message of Bhagavatam, the culture of knowledge of the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So we begin our spiritual life and we start chanting, we start hearing and discussing Bhagavad Katha and things related to that. And at some point we want to really feel connected with Krishna, feel connected with Srimad Bhagavatam. And so how do we do that? Is very nicely explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. The attitude should be very submissive of someone who is disciple of Srimad Bhagavatam or of someone who has realized Srimad Bhagavatam. So we hear that in this first chapter, the sages of Naimiṣāraṇya, they have found such a great representative of Shukadeva or representative of Vyasadeva. This is Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī. So they welcome him, they give him a proper accommodation, a proper seat. That's the culture. When we follow Vaishnava culture, it helps us to prepare ourselves and also someone who we are receiving to give Krishna Katha freely, more freely. Because if we don't follow culture, it's difficult for someone who has Krishna in his heart to give Krishna to others. So it's very much important to see that a speaker and the hearer should be qualified. Because if the hearer is not qualified, the speaker might be able to carry on to say or speak of the absolute truth. But because the hearer might not be qualified or might not be ready for it, then the Bhagavad Katha cannot be really deep. But not in this case. Here in this first chapter, we see that the case is completely opposite. The speaker, both the speaker and the audience are qualified to receive the message. Sūta Gosvāmī is a gentle disciple, so he can tell everyone gathered about the absolute truth and answer necessary questions. So the first question being is that what is the ultimate good? That's the first question that the sages are asking. They ask 6 questions. Does anyone know what's the second question that the sages are asking? Or maybe any of them. How to achieve it? Yeah, what is the... There are many varieties of different scriptures. What is the scripture that is complete and full, that can give us Krishna? What is the essence? Where do we find the essence of all spiritual knowledge? And that's, as we know, it's Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the third question is, they speak about for what purpose Krishna appears. For what purpose the personality of God appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. So yesterday we celebrated the wonderful Janmashtami, appearance of the Lord. And sometimes it's important to question, for what purpose does the Lord appear? Or for what purpose do devotees try to put on a festival like that and glorify Krishna in this way? The festival always leaves a great impression on us, and it can carry on for a long time, for many days, even for weeks and months. I'm sure you can agree with that. Yesterday was a wonderful celebration. And so actually, the sum and substance of these festivals, what makes this festival so unique, is the presence of Krishna in the form of holy name and also in the form of scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam. In the front, we were trying to put a tent and distribute various books. I'm sure you saw us, maybe even talked to us, approached us. The whole time I was trying to distribute books, Srimad Bhagavatam, various books. I was thinking of this verse in the CC, in the Adi Lila 941. Jivira Prabhu definitely know this verse. This is Bharata Bhumite Haila Manusya Janma Yara Janma Sartaka Karikara Para Upakara. And the translation as follows. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. So it's a necessity of everyone born in the Bharatavarsha to preach the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy name, because it's in many ways much easier since you're already cultured and you've heard pastimes, and it's much easier to accept Krishna as the Supreme when you're born in Bharatavarsha. And lifestyle is also not as sinful, although times are changing, than in comparison to the Western world. But although it is true, Srila Prabhupada in the last paragraph says that is not only the duty of Indians, but the duty of everyone to preach that message of Krishna consciousness. And we are very happy that American and European boys and girls are seriously cooperating with this movement. That's the main instruction that Srila Prabhupada left for us, to cooperate with each other and distribute the knowledge, distribute the mercy of the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam, mercy of Krishna to others. And between ourselves also. When we have gatherings like that, it's a great inspiration for our own selves to feel inspired, hearing about Krishna, chanting his name. So that's why we all come to the temple. Within these four walls, we can see the presence of the Lord. One should know definitely that the best welfare activity for all of human society is to awaken men's God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Therefore, everyone should help this great movement. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. That's 22nd chapter, verse 35. And Srila Prabhupada puts this, or this is the verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that comes next, 942. It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. So that's what we can utilize in our life to help spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Our life, the span of life, prana, our wealth, and intelligence and words we speak. If we utilize this in Krishna consciousness, then along the way we can get purified and experience something not ordinary, something transcendental, as known as rasa. In the third verse, it is explained that Srimad Bhagavatam is so sweet. Nigamakalpa taror galitam palam shukamukat amrita drava samyitam. This drama, drava samyitam, it is easily swallowable. It's a ripe fruit. It's semi-soft and easily swallowable, you know. If we hear Krishna consciousness, if we hear Krishna Katha from someone who has received this mercy of Krishna and who is trying to be sincere and serious, then this speaking, his words are so sweet and easily swallowable. Of course, I have a long way to go, but devotees like Jivira Prabhu and all the senior Vaishnavas in our community, they already have that, and we are very happy that they speak on Srimad Bhagavatam and enlighten us. And Srimad Bhagavatam is so tasteful that even if you liberate it, Brahma Bhutta Prasanatma, if you liberate it, like Shukadeva Goswami, he was born as a liberated person. Although he was liberated, still he was attracted to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. The pastimes of the Lord are so attractive that you can't just ignore it. And therefore, when you feel that attraction, when you're inspired by these pastimes, by the message of Krishna, then you want to preach it, you want to share it with others. It's a very, very natural state of affairs. we have something good to in our life, we want to share it. So that the first chapter continues to, the sages continue bringing up different questions. The fourth question is, transcendental acts of the Lord are magnificent and gracious and great. Learned sages like Narada sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations. So the fourth and fifth questions are about the incarnations of the Lord. Then we have the final question, which is the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, who has departed for his own abode. Please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Krishna left, and we might think that since Krishna left, how do we really take shelter of Krishna and find him in this material world? And so Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains in the commentaries that Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, some representation of the Lord here in this age of Kali. Krishna Swadhama Pagate Dharma Gyanadi Bisaha Kalo Nashta Durshamasha Puranarka Dunoditaha. This Bhagavatam, this Bhagavad Purana is like the sunshine. And that sunshine help us in this age of Kali, which is primarily so much darkness and ignorance, so much oblivion, so much struggle for material existence. You know, Manda Samanda Mataya. We have short life, short span of life, and we don't have so much fortune. Kripa. Again, I believe the third text. This is the second text of Bhagavatam says, Trakritibihi. Kritibihi. So Kritibihi is referring to that Sukritibihi. We don't have so much pious. We don't have a lot of piety. So therefore, in order to take advantage of human life, we should set a standard of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam with others, and emphasize preaching Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to make Srimad Bhagavatam a life. And that means exactly to study it, to understand it yourself, to try to discuss it with others and to give it to others. Live by the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam and to give it to others. And in that practice of giving Srimad Bhagavatam, there's so much joy. It's a fact. We, even if we, a student of Srimad Bhagavatam and might not have complete and full realization of this wonderful pastimes of the Lord, but still, to a degree that we can, we should try to preach this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today is the appearance of Srila Prabhupada, who has given us a wonderful example on how to live by how to embody teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, how to become a living Bhagavatam, and how to preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are many, many examples in the life of Srila Prabhupada how he did it. But I wanted to just speak about a few things here today. And this is, I'm reading from a biography of Srila Prabhupada, written by his disciple, ISKCON Das Gosvāmī. And this, a few chapters. First one is Srila Prabhupada traveling to India. It's called A Lot of Ground to be Covered. And the events here are taking place in, 1971. And also we'll read from another passage here, chapter, in every town and village. And then we'll have some discussion. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada was in India in 1971, and he was preaching. At first he would send devotees out on Harinam. Devotees would go out and try to have a lot of public kirtan and attract the public in this way. And then sometime later, Srila Prabhupada wanted to make life members. So he would send his devotees to various places to speak with different people in major cities of India, big and small cities. And one time, actually, I'm remembering Hamsadutta, he was instructed by Srila Prabhupada to go to preach. Just tell people that this is a token of our books. They published a Krishna book in 3 volumes. This is a token of our books. You should read it and then become our member. Give us a donation of this much. I think it was 1,111 rupees. And then we'll give you the rest of the books. You become our member. You can stay in our temples if you travel. And Hamsadutta was very reluctant to do it. He hesitated for some time. And then he did it. Srila Prabhupada would encourage. He would ask him, "Did you go out? Did you have any success?" And eventually, Hamsadutta, he did it. And for 3 days, he would make a lot of members. He would just say the same thing that Prabhupada instructed him, and he would make members. So it's really amazing how if you just follow what's been given by your teacher, this will work. And so eventually, I don't remember exactly where, but Hamsadutta was supposed to go to someone who is like a mayor of the city, and he was supposed to approach him and also say the same thing, tell this person to come to join the members of ISKCON. And he said no. So Hamsadutta was like, well, he said no, I don't, maybe I said something incorrect or incomplete. So he told Srila Prabhupada, this is what I said to him. What did I do wrong? What was wrong with this? And Prabhupada said that those who know the value of my books, no matter what you say, they will take it, because the books of Srila Prabhupada are gold. This is the best instructions we can get on how to get free from this bhava roga, this path of mritu, samsara, vartmani, this path of repeated birth and death. So there's so much that is being revealed to devotees in preaching. Therefore, Krishna consciousness means doing something that requires a risk in the mission of distributing this knowledge. That's how we can really attract the attention of spiritual master and Krishna as well. Today we had glorification, a series of glorifications. Different devotees, they came in the morning and glorified Srila Prabhupada, reading from their writings. They wrote something in glorification to Srila Prabhupada. And I was speaking about how it's important to keep Srila Prabhupada in our center, and especially when it comes to hearing Srila Prabhupada. And one time, when devotees were in Kumbh Mela in 71, in January 71 in India, they came together and they realized that this situation we're in, it's so cold outside, it's foggy, it's cold, we can't, it's difficult to wake up in the morning, difficult to bear this weather. But Srila Prabhupada would get up every morning, would lead by the example, yat yata charti shreshtas. And they realized that they were before coming to Kumbh Mela, they were treated by the life members so nicely, staying in the house, no problem with that severe weather. But then they find themselves in a situation, raising up early, attending the morning program, going to a class, and before that, of course, bathing in the Ganges. So it's not very pleasant for the body, so it requires austerity. But one realization that they carried in this austere situation is that we're doing this for the purpose of coming to associate with the sadhu, to associate with Srila Prabhupada. And that's the whole reason why we come together in a holy place, or in a place. This is also a holy place. This is the temple, the Hare Krishna temple is a holy place where we can do the same. We can associate with the sadhu, take advantage of that. And in this, this was a preaching opportunity for Srila Prabhupada to go to Kumbh Mela. It was actually quite, we can say, dear to his heart, because this is where he got his initiation from spiritual master. And also, this is a place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to instruct Rupa Gosvāmī, Allahabad, specifically that city. So, yeah, this place was dear to Srila Prabhupada. That's one example how Srila Prabhupada would go out of his way and bring his disciples to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. It was so important. And in this chapter 8, in every town and village, these events are happening also in 1971 in August in London. This is what Prabhupada says: I am sick here since the last 4 days. There is no sunshine. Almost always there is darkness and rain. He's describing the weather in London. So it has affected my health. So Prabhupada said he wanted to retire from traveling and management. This body is really old, he would say. He's giving me warning. He didn't have sufficient confidence that his leading managers could push on this movement. So he couldn't retire. He had to be with his disciples. And then we see that GBC duties, he would say, were to see that Prabhupada's books were always in stock. The Back to Godhead magazine was being published regularly. The accounts were being paid regularly, and the devotional life in the temple was healthy. This is what Srila Prabhupada would want his disciples to maintain the printing of the books, magazine, also maintain accounts, do not spend unnecessarily, maintain accounts nicely. And devotional life in the temples was healthy. This was important to Srila Prabhupada. Let any philosopher, scientist, or educationist come. We have got enough stock of books, Srila Prabhupada referring to. So, and then he would chastise his disciples for not being able to carry on with that instruction or execute that instruction. He says this restlessness, this diversion has to stop. When the Father is providing, it is the duty of the Son to serve. When the Father is giving, we should take the position of a servant, take advantage. And he says, I'm the Father. I'm giving you everything in forms of my books, my association, this temple, ISKCON. I'm giving you everything. Why don't you serve me by printing these books? If one book only is read and understood, that is sufficient to make him or her Krishna conscious. Don't you see how important it is? So this is the heart of Srila Prabhupada, the soul of Srila Prabhupada, this transcendental book printing and book distribution. One disciple, Ranachar, he says, everyone was asleep at night one time. Not only the temple, but practically the whole city of London. At 1 o'clock in the morning, but Srila Prabhupada was awake and he was translating. At 1 o'clock in the morning, he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam. He couldn't do it in the daytime because the disciples would be rushing to speak and to complain and to ask, inquire. So he had to sacrifice his sleep and his time in the day to get up early in the morning and translate at 1 o'clock. Have you ever had an experience of getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and doing something important? Some of you have. So when we do that, when we wake up that early, it means there's something really important for us. And for Srila Prabhupada, it was every day like that. We'd get up in the morning. And whenever he would travel to different places, he crossed the entire globe about 14 times. Every place he would travel to, he would maintain the same schedule. The devotees were shocked. No one would keep up with Srila Prabhupada. He would get up on the same time and do the same routine, the same sadhana. It's completely astonishing. It sounds easy, like Srila Prabhupada in the first canto explains that the Krishna consciousness is simple, but application is not simple, it's difficult. It sounds so simple, but to do it steadily, to maintain it day after day, it's not that easy. So the whole city was asleep, but Srila Prabhupada was translating. Yeah, all during the day he was under pressure to organize things and to see people. And at night, the one time when he could have some peace and quiet, he was up dictating the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then on August 14th, here in London, they observed Janmashtami like we observed it yesterday, and the birthday of Lord Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada's 75th birthday in 71. So devotees were reading the homages, praising Srila Prabhupada for this day. And when we read this homages, when we read an offering to Srila Prabhupada on Vyasa Puja, it is a way to express our gratitude, because a disciple should be very submissive and very humble and dependent on the mercy of the spiritual master. So when we write an offering to Srila Prabhupada, that puts us in that position of being humbly dependent on Srila Prabhupada. And I mean, if we active in chanting and in hearing Krishna Katha and in preaching, we have so much to share, so much to be grateful for. Because when you take a little risk or a big risk for Srila Prabhupada, mercy is needed. Dependence and protection of the Lord is needed. One of the qualities of Krishna is that he gives protection to the surrendered devotees or surrendered souls. And that protection can be seen in, just like we understand the word protection, protection. He is protecting us from different calamities. He's protecting us from influence of material energy. In various ways, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna is protecting us if we are sincere. So here at Vyasa Puja time, disciples write, we can go forth, gathering together as one great ISKCON without fraction, truly perform the work with our thoughts, words, and deeds. Let us go and distribute this literature of Srila Prabhupada's, Krishna's message. Srila Prabhupada's literature is Krishna's message. It's very transparent. There's nothing else but Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is beyond karma, jnana, upasana kanda. It's actually giving us the message of Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. That's why taking advantage of reading Srimad Bhagavatam will purify us to such an extent that we'll be attracted to perform pure devotional service. So, yeah, Krishna's message kindly delivered to the Western countries. Let us cooperate without ill feelings among ourselves. Let us very strictly observe all the regulative principles and stay as pure representatives. Let us celebrate pure Sankirtan and magazine distribution to please you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So they reading this offering to Srila Prabhupada on his Vyasa Puja. All your disciples, pray that you will remain in our presence for many years to come. And by our cooperation, you will be able to spend time writing volumes of Bhagavatam while we carry on the program and mission of your Guru Maharaj. So Srila Prabhupada received the mission of his spiritual master to deliver the Western world from impersonalism and voidism. And anyone who is a follower of Srila Prabhupada is taken on that very important and difficult mission. But all things that are difficult become easy if we remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we remember Krishna, if we remember Srila Prabhupada. Is this, I'm reading this little Amrita, is this interesting for you? One day, I'll continue. This is the events after Janmashtami. One day while meeting with an Indian man, his name is Pandya, Mr. R.B. Pandya from Mombasa, East Africa. As we mentioned, Srila Prabhupada was feeling challenged by the weather in London. It's very austere weather. I come from Russia. The weather is even tougher in Russia, especially in some parts. And those who have been to London, anyone been to London? If you've been to London, so very austere weather. So, yeah, even in the summertime, sometimes you need to wear a coat. Often you need to wear a coat. At least, what do you call it, a wind breaker? Yeah, this is and a lot of rain too. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to come preach to Africa. This is East Africa. That's where we went after this London trip. Mombasa. And it was sunny and warm there, so he got an invitation. Mr. Pandya invited Srila Prabhupada to go there and live there as long as you liked. And some of his disciples, they also came along with Srila Prabhupada. So when sannyasi travels, he usually travels with a disciple or servant. That makes things easier because you want to maintain a certain schedule, diet, and things like that. So it's easier, much easier if you have someone who understands your mood and can serve you nicely. So Srila Prabhupada, and besides Srila Prabhupada, when he would travel with devotees, he brought devotees to India to just teach him how to interact with the public, with people from India, how to interact, how to preach. So by his personal example, he would teach devotees like that. So Bhavananda and Narayana, also Brahmananda Swami, they've been struggling in East Africa with only one assistant, and they were coming to Srila Prabhupada. Previously they went to Pakistan and they had a lot of difficulties there preaching in Pakistan. Imagine preaching in Pakistan, Krishna consciousness. They would wear a tilak, and people outside, they would just they would catch them and take off the tilak, they would harass him in this way and tell him, never do this again, never come here again, we'll kill you if you do it. And they'll be arrested and detained on several occasions. So finally, Brahmananda and Jaganivas, they arrived in Pakistan, where students, they were spitting on them. This I'm reading from Vilamita. Several times people on the street had rubbed the Vaishnava tilak, as I mentioned, of the devotees. So they were harassed by people. And Prabhupada heard that some local Hindus, they weren't, or they told Prabhupada that these devotees were actually injured, no, killed. They were killed in Pakistan. And Srila Prabhupada was very worried about that. But when he met, especially Brahmananda and Swami and devotees who went to Pakistan, he was so relieved to see them. So that's another very important point, that devotees, they were taking such an extreme risk for Srila Prabhupada in the beginning. They would go to preach in Pakistan, a country where it's literally dangerous to just be in a Western body. That's why Srila Prabhupada was so merciful and happy with devotees in his direct disciples in the beginning of the movement. That's why Srila Prabhupada extended so much mercy. When a spiritual master, he sees that a disciple has potential to preach and is eager to do it, he can give a lot of mercy to that disciple. He can empower him. Okay, so we'll continue. Srila Prabhupada wanted to preach to the local people in East Africa when he came there. And he said that brotherhood of men can be complete when we are all in God consciousness. Otherwise, we'll go against each other. It wouldn't be possible. And our method is the same. He doesn't want to change. He didn't want to change the method also. Why change the method if Krishna consciousness is a natural? It's a natural. It's our nature. It's within our nature. It's not something that we force upon ourselves. It's a completely natural thing. So method is the same. It's very powerful. That appeals to everyone. We do not have to convey a new method, Srila Prabhupada says, for a new place. That method is the same. It's universal. It will appeal to everyone. And that method is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. We come together for these reasons, to hear and to chant and to hear the name of Krishna. So Nairobi, this is September 18th, 1971. Srila Prabhupada would travel from place to place, household to household. And in Nairobi particularly, he would travel as an exemplified sannyasi. He would stay for 3 days in one place to teach his disciples again. Because if you stay longer, sometimes if you stay longer than 3 days, the host might be inconvenient by your presence. Or you can become too comfortable. So it's important and good to relocate and to move as a sannyasi. Madhukari, that's the word. Madhukari is like a bee. The bee is coming from one flower, from one residence to another, searching for the nectar and distributing the nectar. Bee is actually, it's interesting how the bee is collecting the nectar, but never eats the honey herself, only giving the honey, giving the nectar. Srila Prabhupada would emphasize also in the first canto that we should hear the Bhagavatam from a bona fide spiritual teacher. Because when we hear from Srila Prabhupada or representatives of Srila Prabhupada or Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī, then what happens is that they want to benefit everyone. They want to distribute Krishna consciousness to everyone. They do not have any ill desires, any ill motivations. So in this way, the benefit is that we can receive Krishna in our heart, and we can be inspired or empowered by them. But if a speaker is not motivated in this way, if he's motivated by something else, then this doesn't happen. The Krishna consciousness is not arisen in the heart of someone who's hearing that message. So that's why it's so important to hear from a bona fide spiritual master. And some topics of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, which we have over here, might be a little too difficult or a little too intimate to understand. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada would emphasize reading from the first canto onwards to be able to train and prepare ourselves. Just like we have if we swallow a bowl of ghee, it's difficult to digest. So similarly, if we just begin swallowing the intimate pastimes of Rasa Lila from the 10th canto, it would be very difficult to digest. It might even hamper our digestion. So it's important to approach Srimad Bhagavatam as being directed to Srila Prabhupada. And the result of reading Srimad Bhagavatam in this way will be that the abhadras will go away. We will have the affinity to hear this message. We'll be inspired by Srimad Bhagavatam, because actually Srimad Bhagavatam contains that taste and that mercy necessary for us to become attracted, get purified, become attracted to Krishna. Because Bhagavatam carries that rasa. When we read Bhagavatam, we can experience it. The joy and happiness that we experience from the holy name, from coming together, from reading Bhagavatam, reciting it, from glorifying Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, it all comes from the heart, from that rasa, from that relationship, from that taste. It's factual, it's real, we can all taste it. It's available to us at a very low price compared to things that are so costly in the material world. People are looking for that rasa, people are looking for that experience by material means. There are a few examples we can all think of. We like to travel, we like to go and buy different things that will help us that will satisfy us sensually. We like to eat, we like to do many things of that nature, which are, as Srila Prabhupada would put it, sense gratification. We're looking for that rasa, we're looking for that relationship with Krishna, but instead we are misusing that potential that Prabhupada says in the second verse in this first chapter. As human beings, we have extra function within us. And if we utilize that extra function, meaning that after all the duties and things are done, after working or going to college, we come back and that extra function is there. And usually what we do is we go on the web or we go elsewhere and you misuse that extra function, that extra intelligence. But instead of taking shelter in material things, we can take shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam. And as it says here, what is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively hears the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Lord is established in the heart. Sadhya avarudyate takritipi shushushubi stadkshanat. And we'll get the necessary piety and mercy. So I want to, in my humble way, an attempt to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and I tried best I can. So we can take advantage of this great narration, of this great text. The benefit and mercy, rasa, great opportunity for developing relationship with Srila Prabhupada and Krishna is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Only thing left to do is for us to take it seriously and take our time to read it. And today, as well as yesterday, today, and we'll continue, offering this Srimad Bhagavatam to you, publicly, and to you, to those who come here. I'd like to ask the audience a question. Do you have a Srimad Bhagavatam in your house to take advantage of this great Vaishnava literature? Please raise your hand if you have a Srimad Bhagavatam set in your house. Jai. And those who don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, please also raise your hand. Nice. And please keep your hand if you'd like to get Srimad Bhagavatam. Keep your hand raised if you'd like to get Srimad Bhagavatam. Today, after this class. Anyone else? Nice. Thank you. We'd like to offer Srimad Bhagavatam. It's actually, we've received a lot of help and support, so we want to make it accessible. So the set of Srimad Bhagavatam, only as of today, will be for $108, one complete set. but we'll only be able to distribute 3 of sets for that price, for the sets. So if you'd like to get a Srimad Bhagavatam for 108 today, please approach me after class. We'll be very happy to share this with you. It's usually the price is more than double. So it's a more than 50% discount. And we have great fortune of having association and support by the devotees who come here, who yesterday and some days before put some donations towards preaching glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are very grateful to you who did that. Thank you so much. And at this point, that's everything from me. If you'd like to continue with the discussion, if you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions or comments? Any chastisements? Anything that you disagree with? Yes, Prabhu.
Got a lot of people listening outside.
Uh-oh, there are? Okay, so I'm going to make a few comments, and then I have a few questions, and if you don't know, you don't have to answer, but I want to tell you where I'm at, kind of thing. Just I went yesterday, and I was totally blown away and inspired. The dancing was magnificent. I went a couple Saturdays ago to the Festival of Chariots, and I encountered this Bhagavatam. So I went and I inquired, and I purchased the first one, the canto. And she also made me a good offer. But what's hampering for me, what's hampering my digestion is there's so much to digest after this. Looking at that, it's not getting, so it's going to sit on my shelf, what have you, type thing. I also got she gave me the book Krishna as well. And my other question is, since I've been coming around for 9 months now, I noticed. Then there's when I see you're all speaking Sanskrit so fluently and so well, so my mind is going, oh my God, I'm going to have to learn Sanskrit if you want to get that. So I'll have the questions in a little bit. There was I don't know how many people, 2,000, 3,000? I was totally blown away. So my question is, what are these people on other Sundays? Are there other groups? In Los Angeles, I kind of understand it's here. So out of that, a large group, would it be fair to say that most of them are engaged in Krishna consciousness? And so where do they gather if they do, wherever, if you don't know? And my questions, do you as devotees have most of you read it all? Type thing? Because it sounds like a lot of effort. Maybe just me because I'm old. But I read, and I know younger people don't read nearly as much. And I know back in the day, reading was the way to transmit information, but now it's like a different method. Yeah. So is there anything to do with that? So that's my questions and comments. Thank you.
Yeah, so we emphasize the Bhagavatam studies. It's happening it happens every morning in our ISKCON communities, centers, temples. At someone's home, also devotees get up and read Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's essential for us to study Bhagavatam. It's actually one of the most potent ways to realize Krishna or to serve Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you worship me with intelligence. When we read Bhagavatam, we worship Krishna also by reading. It's Purana Brahma Samhita. It's a sound representation of the Lord. And Narada Muni, he empowered Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam specifically for that purpose, to deliver this message of pure devotional service to the people of Kali Yuga. So in Los Angeles, in San Diego, in all places of ISKCON, we stress the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And on one occasion, one of the prominent spiritual teachers of ISKCON, his name is Bhakti Gosvāmī, he would translate Srimad Bhagavatam to Russian, and he would stay in Sweden. He would go from Russia to Sweden I believe in the 90s, early 90s. And he shared something that when you read Bhagavatam and when you translate, as he did, you always come across verses, common verses of Srila Prabhupada quotes verses very often, especially those are well known from Bhagavad Gita verses, for example, from the 4th chapter, 16th chapter, 18th chapter. He would quote them often. So when you come across these verses, you just memorize them. you read them, so you just it sticks with you, you know, in that way. But then also there's a part of our sadhana is to recite shlokas and prayers. Dravida Prabhu is well known for that. Every morning he comes and he recites different shlokas and prayers in Sanskrit and Bengali language. And why need of recitation? Because if we don't recite, we tend to forget. So just like the currents, if it's not running in a certain place, it becomes dry, the place. So the current should be running. There's one wonderful example in the second canto, and also by prayers of Mother Kunti. She says that as the Ganges, they flow with such intense power to the ocean, or any rivers flowing to the ocean. Yeah, our devotion and our love for Krishna, our thoughts of Krishna should also flow in such devotion. We pray for that, should flow in such devotion towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yeah, this is how you can learn more verses. And we should not be intimidated by Srimad Bhagavatam, the length of Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply, for one important reason is that if we look at Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the Sanskrit. I'm almost done. We have the Sanskrit translation, Devanagari, and also transliteration of this, word-to-word meaning and commentaries. So much of what you see here is the text that we wouldn't even read on the first go, you know. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, as I mentioned throughout the class, when you read it, there's a certain taste to it. I remember when I first got the Bhagavad Gita. I'll just end with this. I got it from one of the devotees, and I was reading it. I would open it in my apartment where I was staying, and I had absolutely, I wasn't understanding anything in Bhagavad Gita when I first read it, but somehow I knew that this book is so important, and I really appreciated that book. I really relished it to some degree, and I was holding, and I was thinking, I'm holding something so immense and so amazing. I was really feeling that this book can change my life. So if we approach this Bhagavatam in such mood, with submission, humility, knowing that potentially this book can completely change my life, and in this way, Srimad Bhagavatam can give us the necessary mercy, and that mercy is there, truly. So please read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the great inspiration for the Vaishnavas. There's no better or higher knowledge in this world than Srimad Bhagavatam. We unfortunately ran out of time, but if you have any other questions, please approach me after class.
This clock is 1 minute fast. So let me have 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. So just a sample of a prayer by Queen Kunti.
Yes.
Prabhupada loved these prayers. These prayers are offered. Queen Kunti was his aunt, actually, his aunt. So she says, I'll give the Sanskrit, but in English I put it into a poem. Tvai me ananya vishaya mati madhupate asakrit ratamad bhatarandha gange bhavamadanmati. O Madhava, please ever fill my mind with thoughts of thee, not any other kind. As Ganges torrent flows into the sea, let all my love flow constantly to thee. This is a prayer anyone can take, offer to the deity, or to a wonderful picture of Krishna. And these are just one little drop of nectar from the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Bhagavatam is full of prayers like that. And I put a few others into poetry, which you're welcome to have for free. Just send me an email. You'll get the email from him. All glory.
Thank you so much, Dravida Prabhu. Always relevant. And we'll stop here. And again, if you have anything else to add or ask, please approach me after class. Grantar Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Glorious appearance of Srila Prabhupada ki jai.